The next great resource for local weather is now available.
DigitalWeatherDesk.com is your source for up-to-the-minute local weather. Add DigitalWeatherDesk.com to your favorites, download our app, and follow me on social media. The Digital Weather Desk, powered by Century Next Bank.
Hello and good afternoon. Welcome into the Digital Weather Desk, powered by Century Next Bank. I'm Jared Floyd, and it is a smooth sailing Monday for the most part across the area. Not a whole lot to talk about, and that's been the trend and the theme really for the day as I've joined you both in the morning and in the midday stream. For those that, again, have just found us for the first time during the weekend over the severe weather threat and are just kind of seeing things for the first time, we do 3 streams daily, each weekday, morning, midday, and evening. I usually join you around this time, sometimes a little later, sometimes a little earlier. It just depends on the day, and we try to keep it as flexible as possible. But again, not a whole lot to really focus on in terms of the forecast. We do have some slight cool downs here and there. Some are a little bit stronger than others, but nothing overly dramatic as we set the stage for the rest of the week. Today's forecast made possible by Flying Tiger Brewery and Pizza Bar. They will be back open tomorrow, so go check them out for lunch or dinner. I recommend the Pappy. Sliced meatballs, red peppers, purple onions. Delicious. Pecorino Romano, I think that's the right cheese. One of those fancy cheeses. And then just regular cheese is delicious. You gotta try it. If James sees this, he's gonna be like, "Oh God, Jared, just say it's good," because it is delicious. And I'm not skilled on all the ingredients. Anyway, temperatures across the area, mid-50s for the most part. 56 in Ruston, 55 Monroe, 54 in Bastrop. Hello, Miss Norris. Thank you so much for joining in. 56 was a popular number unofficially for high temperatures for the day. I can't say with a lot of certainty that's exactly where everybody landed, but I looked at some of the unofficial highs, and that's where most of us kind of landed. Onethia, good evening to you as well. Unofficial, low temperature forecast for tonight. We'll look for overnight lows to fall into the mid-30s. Some areas could still see the freezing mark. It really depends, I think, on how clouds treat us through the overnight. But most of our area will be at least close to the freezing mark, mid-30s in some areas. Dew points are still quite dry, so again, winds have been fairly calm. High pressure at the surface sitting right over the top of us, which has allowed for calm winds and allows for what you would think would be optimal radiational cooling conditions overnight. But as that high pressure center moves off to the east, our winds will start to return to the southwest. It won't necessarily be an overly strong southwesterly breeze, but it should be rather persistent, and that should keep temperatures, again, generally in the low to mid-30s. Those wind speeds, again, right now generally calm, but as I mentioned, Futurecast made possible by Bayou Power Sports shows those winds out of the southwest picking up with time as we go through the day tomorrow, maybe up into the 10 to 15 mile an hour range, perhaps by the end of the day. As we work into the daytime hours on Wednesday, we will wiggle a weak cold front through the region, so those winds will shift from the southwest and west to the northwest and stay breezy through the daytime hours on Wednesday, generally in the 10 to 20 mile an hour range with some higher gusts possible. That sets us up for, like I said, kind of an ebb and flow temperature-wise. We'll look at Futurecast temperatures, and I also overlaid the cloud cover with the winds with temperatures, because I think a lot of that all goes hand in hand, really, in terms of the forecast over the rest of the work week. Morning lows, again, close to the freezing mark, just above. Really depends on how the clouds treat us. And again, those clouds kind of linger through much of the day tomorrow, especially along and south of I-20. So it may keep some spots a little cooler, while portions of southern Arkansas may actually trend a little bit warmer as they see a little bit more sunshine through the course of the day. But again, this is all kind of semantics, if you will. Yeah, heavy frost this morning south of I-20, Angela, and I would expect at least to see frost potential again tomorrow morning in many spots. It was fairly widespread in my area. Granted, I'm just north of the interstate, but yeah, pretty heavy stuff. Cloud cover starts to roll back into the west and the southwest as we go into the morning hours on Wednesday. That's as a new cold front approaches the area. Now, Wednesday morning, we'll probably kind of see temperatures level out. As you see, winds are out of the west and the southwest. The cloud cover rolls back in, so we really don't cool off drastically through the overnight. And then the northwesterly winds build in through the day. So it's kind of an interesting day on Wednesday, because you've got the northwesterly winds pulling colder air in. Meanwhile, You've got the sunshine and just the heat of the day, so temperatures are trying to climb, but colder air continues to work in through the course of the day as well. So I do think we see temperatures probably climb into the mid to upper 50s, but that's about it. And then as skies clear pretty quickly going into Wednesday night, Thursday morning, a lot of us will again drop to near or below the freezing mark, and we set the stage for a noticeably cooler day on Thursday. I have us generally in the mid to upper 40s, 46, 48, 47 in El Dorado, Monroe, and Natchez. You can see there generally 47, 46, somewhere in that ballpark. So chilly through the afternoon hours on Thursday. Temperatures rebound a little bit on Friday, but then we bring another cold front in this weekend, and we cool off again after that. So that's kind of how temperatures look. We're about to redo that whole thing all over again, looking at rain chances and then at the upper level pattern. Just for fun, because there's nothing else to talk about. Anyway, a look at the infrared satellite. Few clouds, that's about it. Radar made possible by Brown's Roofing. Schedule your free roof inspection, commercial or residential, at brownsroofingla.com. And join them for their ribbon cutting tomorrow. I will be out there. Come out and say hello. Jimmy and the crew would be happy to see you. Check of what's going on with the Futurecast. Again, looking at clouds and rainfall and all that stuff. High pressure sitting right over the top of us, as I just mentioned. As it relaxes, winds become more southwesterly. I would expect that high pressure center to kind of drift off to the south as we go through the overnight hours. But either way, it doesn't really make that much of a difference. Winds are out of the southwest as we go into the day tomorrow. As I mentioned earlier, there's a weak upper disturbance that could kind of phase into the upper level pattern over our area. That leads to an increase in cloud cover early in the day tomorrow. Then the cold front moves through on Wednesday. Slight rain chance is not completely out of the question. I have the rain chances up to 10% in Monroe and Natchez. Again, not overly confident that we'll see a lot of rainfall. High pressure sits back over the top of us again on Thursday, so we'll stay chilly. And then that high pressure center moves east. Winds return to the south. We're warming up again on Friday. We bring another cold front through the area Friday night. So again, we just continue to trend cold, little bit warmer, cold, little bit warmer, cold, little bit warmer. It's just the cycle of a pretty typical January across the region. Futurecast shows, and yeah, Angela, I mean, everybody's going to say something different about the forecast in terms of forecast lows that far in advance. And I'm about to probably show you why they're saying 24 degrees for Sunday morning. Not that I really want to justify somebody else's forecast, because I couldn't care less what they're saying. But to your avail, to signify your point, I'll show you why that 24 is there. Like I said, we ain't got anything else to talk about. Janet, good evening to you. Hello, Nephew Cooper. Mid-level winds, again, as I mentioned, there's this weak upper disturbance that will kind of phase into the upper level pattern over our area on Tuesday. Could lead to an increase in cloud cover before the bigger cold front starts to move through, deeper trough of low pressure. So we're going to extend a cold front through the region. It sweeps through on Wednesday. Like I said, small rain chances associated with it. We warm up a little bit briefly late this week, and then as I mentioned, there's another late week cold front Friday into Saturday. So that brings another cool down, and then that is where your 24 for Sunday morning comes from. I don't have it in the forecast for Sunday morning. I have El Dorado at 29 Sunday morning. I have Monroe at 32 Sunday morning. And I have Natchez at 33 Sunday morning. But the GFS model, which is the upper level pattern that I'm basing this particular part off of, has another secondary burst of very strong mid-level and upper level winds that would, if this was to pan out, that would bring a secondary surge of cold air into the region. It's also very important to note that the vast majority of model data, including the ensemble, isn't overly aggressive with bringing that cold air into our area. It does bring cold air into the eastern half of the United States. It just, most of it bypasses us to the east and northeast. Is it impossible for it to happen? Absolutely not. The way I said all of that, it made it sound like it was impossible for us to see the mid-20s by Monday morning, and that's not the case. In fact, I think it's a pretty decent possibility for us to be well into the 20s. But the reason I don't have it in the forecast is because, again, the model data kind of pushes against us getting that cold. But if the trend continues to point towards that secondary burst of cold air, then we'd obviously have to modify the forecast. It's the same story with a lot of the model data. Oh yeah, Angela, like I said, it's one of those. It's a different of numbers, and also in full disclosure, this far in advance from now to next Sunday morning, those numbers, depending on who you are, who your forecaster is, those numbers are going to be different from everybody. Because everybody, that far in advance, the data diverges so much that everybody leans on different types of data. So the National Weather Service may have a different number. The Weather Channel may have a different number. I may have a different number. It's very, very common for the numbers to be, 5-6 degrees different in some instances that far in advance. Janie, all the social media posts about the 17th through 19th snow. Hey, all I got news for you is this is about the 5th or 6th snowstorm I've heard for the weekends, or for this weekend is the 5th or 6th snowstorm I've heard about this season. Blech, that was terrible. But you get what I'm trying to say. And how many have we had? Overnight lows tonight, mid-30s, few clouds, chilly, but most of us should be close to or just above freezing. Nope, you're not. Susie, you're alive. You're here. You're here. You're in the right spot. Trust me. Good evening, and thank you for joining in. And Sherry, thank you so much for joining in as well. 62 for a high tomorrow. Most of us will be in the low end of the 60s. But you joined the live stream, and you've joined kind of toward the end of the live stream. And once this live stream is done, the video will end, it will format, and then it will be right back out there. So if you joined in late and you missed something, you can go right back to the beginning and watch it all over again, and then skip through parts you don't want to see, because I tend to talk about a lot of stuff that a lot of people don't really care about. And, I try to entertain where I can, when we can. 7-day forecast made possible by 3B Hardware. Small rain chances Wednesday. Regarding the weekend forecast, Janie, and again, in all fairness, some computer model data continues to every now and then try to waffle back toward a rain or rain-snow mix. The most recent data has trended that east of us. So again, it's not, like I said, these types of things are not out of the realm of possibility. They're just not in my forecast because the data points against them. And as I mentioned, a lot of folks, the social media folks, and I kind of when I say that because I am one of them technically now, but a lot of the social media pages get really aggressive when they see it snow because, again, it gets a lot of clicks. And I'm not going to lie, when I post any kind of winter weather potential, it is the most heavily trafficked content I produce on any daily basis. On any daily basis, on any season, if I were to post snow, it doesn't matter. That is the most highest traffic content. So, a lot of folks tend to, it's an endorphin boost to get there to see all of those shares and to see all that traffic. And you're like, man, I got to give the people what they want. Well, I would just much prefer to be right. I don't want to be first. I'd rather be right. And so if the trend continues toward, if the trend starts, it hasn't even continued. If the trend were to move toward wintry precipitation at any time, I will probably trend towards it eventually too. But it may take me longer than others because I have a lot of experience doing this. I've been doing this for a long time in this area. And I know this. I meet it with skepticism. I also know the massive amounts of disappointment when you throw it in the forecast and have to take it away, or even worse, if you put it in the forecast and it just doesn't happen. Again, the most important part of all of this for me is that you have a name and a face to go to when the forecast is right or when the forecast is wrong, that you can come to somebody and go, hey, you were right, good job. Or you're wrong, bad job, or whatever you would say. Reminder, the forecast and the digital weather desk in general, powered by Century Next Bank, is made possible by the local businesses that you see there on your screen. Of course, your appreciation of them is always welcome. Just like I said, a quick message of of appreciation and gratitude goes a long way, or the next time you need their services, keep them in mind. I will join you tomorrow morning as normal, usually between 7 and 8 a.m. with a look at the forecast. Again, nothing dire happening between now and then. Fish and game forecast comes out tonight at 8. And a little bit of extra content later this evening. Just, again, kind of recapping severe weather over the weekend. It's nothing serious or anything like that, but it'll be out on Facebook a little bit later tonight as well. Forecast is always available at digitalweatherdesk.com and on the Digital Weather Desk app available for Apple and Android users. Enjoy the rest of your Monday night. I'll check in with you tomorrow morning. Have a great evening.